Have you ever looked at the news and it just feels like this random, chaotic mess of events? Well, today, we're going to try and cut through some of that noise. We're going to take three seemingly unconnected headlines from a single day, January 10th, 2026, and believe it or not, we're going to uncover this incredible hidden story that links our ancient past, some of our biggest challenges, and the tools we're literally building for the future. All right, so here's our roadmap for connecting these dots. First, we're going to start with a really deep look at sacred foundations in India. Then we'll shift gears completely and face this massive challenge of the Doomsday Glacier. After that, we'll check out the digital tools being created right now, and then, at the very end, we'll see how it all pulls together to ask a really important question about tomorrow. Okay, so let's start our story on January 10th. The day kicks off with an event that's just brimming with cultural and historical meaning, the return of the Piparhawa relics to India. And this wasn't some quiet little ceremony. It was a huge deal, marked by a grand international exposition. And just look at that title. It's so poetic. And it really tells you this was a moment of immense national pride. And, for many, a kind of spiritual homecoming. What's just incredible here is the sheer amount of time we're talking about. These relics, which are believed to be the actual remains of the Buddha, were first discovered way back in 1898. So their return basically closes this 127-year chapter. It's a story that literally spans generations. So you hear this event being described as an act of cultural reclamation. And that's such a powerful idea, isn't it? It's not just about getting an object back from a museum. It's about a people, a nation, reclaiming a piece of its own story, its identity, and the very philosophies that helped shape it. And this is really the heart of it. These relics aren't just seen as historical artifacts. They represent a living, breathing philosophy. You see ideas here like ethical governance, or finding a middle path to deal with things like consumerism, or even applying mindfulness to technology. These are being framed as ancient solutions to our most modern problems. So let's just hold on to that thought for a minute. Now let's pivot. We're going to jump from the wisdom of our foundations to one of the most serious challenges our future has ever faced. Because on that very same day, the world got a pretty terrifying warning from Antarctica. The Doomsday Glacier. I mean, seriously, it sounds like a title for a summer blockbuster movie, right? But the thing is, this is terrifyingly real. So what are we actually dealing with here? We're talking about the Thwaites Glacier, and the best way to think about it is like a cork in a bottle for a huge part of Antarctica's ice. It's one of the most rapidly changing places on the entire planet, and its stability is a critical tipping point. What happens here doesn't stay here. It has consequences for all of us. And if you really want to get a sense of the scale, just look at this number. If the Thwaites Glacier were to melt completely, just this one glacier, it alone could cause about 65 centimeters, that's over 2 feet, of global sea level rise. That would be absolutely catastrophic for coastal cities everywhere. And this right here is why scientists are so freaked out now. A new study that came out on this day shows that things are speeding up. The annual length of the cracks in its ice shelf, well, it more than doubled in just those 2 decades between 2002 and 2022. The whole thing is becoming unstable and it's happening fast. The threat isn't just about rising water levels. Scientists are warning about what they call cascading impacts, basically a domino effect. If the Thwaites goes, it could destabilize the entire West Antarctic ice sheet, mess with global weather patterns, and set off a chain reaction with consequences we can't even fully predict yet. This is a challenge on a planetary scale. Okay, so on one hand, we have this deep, ancient wisdom. On the other, a massive existential threat. It's a crazy contrast, right? But how are we actually responding to the challenges of today on a practical day-to-day level? Well, that brings us to our third story from January 10th, and this one is all about the tools we're building to manage our complex world. And wouldn't you know it, on that exact same day, 2 different digital portals were making news. Over on the left, you've got Pankhuri, which is designed to make corporate social responsibility funds for women and children way more transparent. And on the right, Sampann, a system meant to make pension payments a lot smoother. 2 very different problems, both being tackled with digital infrastructure. So Pankhuri is a really cool example of using tech to drive accountability. It creates this very clear 4-step process that you can see here. The whole goal is to get rid of any gray areas. Anyone can sign up, find a project, propose a partnership, but the real magic is in that last step, tracking. It's all about making sure that the money intended for women and children actually gets to where it needs to go. It's about building trust right into the system. And then you've got Sampan, which is using tech to fight a totally different battle: bureaucracy. It's about getting rid of mountains of paperwork and replacing them with a simple, secure digital solution. By linking up with services like DigiLocker, it's making a real, tangible difference in the lives of pensioners. Okay, so let's just pause for a second. On one single day, we have the return of ancient wisdom, a grave warning about a planetary crisis, and the rollout of modern digital tools for governance. Are these just three totally random stories? Or are they actually three pieces of a much, much bigger puzzle? And this, right here, is where it all clicks into place. The relics, they're not just about the past. They offer a mindset of mindfulness and moderation that's so critical for tackling something like the climate crisis. The glacier, well, that's the brutal reality check, showing us just how big the problem is. And the digital portals, they might seem small in comparison, but they prove that we can build smart, targeted solutions to complex problems. The story of January 10th isn't just a collection of headlines. It's really a challenge to all of us. It asks, can we apply our oldest wisdom to our biggest problems using the smartest tools we have ever created? The answer to that question is going to define our future.